Look, we all know that real estate has created more millionaires than pretty much any other business. The problem is, it's also created a lot of heartaches and bankruptcies. Sure, we can get access to a ton of real estate education on the internet, but that's precisely the problem. How can we tell which strategies will consistently produce asymmetric returns and which should be avoided at all costs? My goal is to give real estate entrepreneurs, capital raisers, and investors all of the secrets so that we can grow our portfolios without dealing with costly investment nightmares. And that's what this program is all about. I'm Hunter Thompson, and welcome to the Cashflow Connections Real Estate Podcast. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the program. Today, I want to talk about something that a mastermind student of mine recently brought up, and it's something that a lot of people experience as they're beginning to grow their businesses in terms of bringing on additional overhead. And sometimes there can be too many chefs in the kitchen. So I want to tell you just a quick story about, when this has happened for me and also how you can avoid getting in that circumstance. I have a bit of a system for doing this, a framework, if you will, for overcoming this potential challenge. And it's not what most people want to hear, but I'm just going to give you the truth. So this has happened several times in my career where, number one, we all get into real estate for the same reasons. We want the predictability of outcome. We want the ability to create wealth. We want the ability to provide someone a safe place to live. But perhaps most importantly, we want individual personal freedom. And real estate is very well positioned to give us all those things. When it comes to personal freedom, we can drive our own ships very, very quickly. We can be the principal of our firms very, very quickly. And because the business is so scalable, you don't have to bring on a lot of overhead. You don't have to bring on a lot of team members to accomplish some pretty remarkable things in this industry. There are several companies I can think of off the top of my head that have more than $1 billion under management that are less than 20 people total. So that's really, really powerful. But what ends up happening is that, let's say I'm going about my business and I start to get some momentum and I see someone across the way that has a similar perspective on things, maybe doing something similar. And my inclination is to reach out to them and say, hey, let's partner on something. Especially earlier in my career, I want to reach out to them and say, hey, let's work together. Real estate, there's no I in real estate. Let's work together as partners and, 2 + 2 = 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the power of both of us is more than the sum of whatever. So what ends up happening though, very, very quickly is there's this problem with too many chefs in the kitchen. So I'm a big, big proponent. I know this is going to get a lot of people upset, but I'm a big, big proponent of kind of partnering as a last resort, it is not possible not only to accomplish it by yourself, but by even bringing on additional team members. This is something that I'm almost not willing to do unless it's a last resort and it's something that is mission critical. Because before you partner, there's a lot of other things that potentially could be the resolution to your problem. And I'll give you what the number one is. Avoid doing it. I said that it wasn't going to be what you probably wanted to hear. But number one thing, before I go into a partnership with anyone, the question I'm going to ask is, can I avoid this altogether? If there's any task that I'm doing, number one, I want to avoid it. That's the point of being successful. I heard someone say this recently where the most lucrative and money-making word you can say in the English language is no. Okay, so that's the first thing. Can we avoid this altogether? The second thing is, before you bring on anybody to do something, if you have to do it, can you automate it? Can I do this without a person? Can I do this that's going to work 24/7? That's instead of $15 an hour or $100 an hour is like $15 a month. Can software automate this task to allow me not to do this? Because software rarely makes mistakes. They work 24/7. And you don't have to deal with the potential personality issues that can come up. I know, I'm not being a negative Nancy. I'm just telling you this is my framework for deciding, should I pursue new business ventures? The number one thing is, should I avoid this? In fact, I'll interrupt myself in my framework. I just had to send a text message to someone and kind of apologize to them because I had some friends over to UFC recently, and at the end of the fight, someone approached me and said, hey, I've got a friend who just started a private equity company and he's investing in a lot of startups, and I was wondering if we could partner together and you could raise the money and you could get a percentage of the deal. You could get like 20% of the deal of these startups. And I just was like, no. I basically said, just no, absolutely not. Like, please don't send me an email about this. We're not going to jump on a call. And I'm sorry. It's because it is not in my worldview. It is not in my periphery. And the thing that most frustrates about the situation is that I would love to do it. I would love to do it. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got the shiny blankety blank syndrome, and I would love to pursue new ventures, but I have to say, absolutely not. Please don't even email me about this. And then, of course, later I had to text him and say, sorry, I know that came off a little weird. So again, I'm not joking around or exaggerating. Number one, can we avoid it? Number two, can we automate it? Then the next thing is, can we outsource this? Can we find someone that is doing whatever this task is all day, every day, and get them to plug into their existing skill set, their existing unique ability, whatever relationships they already have? Can they do this thing for me? It's probably going to be a lot cheaper, especially if this is neither a full-time nor a part-time gig. That's where outsourcing becomes really, really powerful. Now, depending on the skill set that you're talking about, almost everything can be done on Upwork.com. That's UPWORK.com. And we have given tens of thousands of dollars to people to do tasks anywhere from $6 an hour to $200 an hour on that. Now, once we've gone through avoiding it, automating it, and then outsourcing it, the next one is insourcing it. And when you start to have conversations about insourcing, this would be something that requires somewhere in the range of 20 to 40 hours a week. Now, as you grow, you'll likely be inclined to hire jacks of all trades because you need another you. At least that's what you likely think. And I'm only saying this from personal experience, guys. You feel like you need another one of you. And if you just had two of you, you could make twice the moves. But if you actually want to build something scalable and lucrative, the right thing to do is to hire a bunch of specialists and keep them in their respective roles so that they can keep acting within their unique ability. That's why the outsourcing thing is so powerful, because I don't want to bring someone on and have them spray and pray with different skill sets. I would much rather hire a specialist that's doing the same thing every single day. Then when we've gone through all of that, we have to do it. We can't automate it. We can't outsource it because it's too demanding. We can't insource it because we're having you can insource it, etc. But if it's a skill that only a couple of people have and they have their own ship that they want to continue to drive, you can't bring them into your company, your firm, your ship, so to speak. Only at that point do you partner. And when I say partner, I'm talking about, percentage ownership of the venture. That is something that should be taken very, very seriously for so many reasons. Most importantly, because of going back to what I was saying, we all get into this business to drive our own ship. So if you bring in someone who's hell-bent on driving their own ship, just like you, and you should be, there's a potential for challenges, even if it is a really good match. Now, I may have talked about this before, but I'm not 100% sure. The phrase that I've come to use quite often, when someone reaches out to me that wants to do some sort of partnership with me, and the reason they want to do a partnership with me is that they like me. And by the way, it's almost always mutual. Like, we're like, holy crap, like, dude, we should go get a beer. And it's like, yeah, we should go start a company. I say this. I say, well, you know what? It looks like you and I are so similar. I'm not sure that it's actually a good potential partnership. Why don't we just be best friends? And that's what I say. And I pretty much mean it. And if you've heard this from me, by the way, now you know, I'm actually serious. Like, I like to have friends in the real estate business, but I don't want to have too many chefs in the kitchen, because I've been down that route. And when you have 5 people that are all principals of their respective firms, and you're trying to schedule calls, and you're trying to pursue new ventures, and everybody got their own opinion, which, by the way, those opinions are what made them enough money to get in the position to have a conversation at the table. Nobody wants to kind of waffle and bend to other people's requests. So I hope this doesn't come off as overtly negative, but it all comes back to that phrase, the most lucrative business, I should say the most lucrative word in the English language is no. So that's your answer.